Hi, I'm Don Lane, and welcome to Week 9 of NFL American Football.
Don Lane in 1994, fit, relaxed, and doing what he likes best, talking sport.
Yankee Doodle went to London just to ride the pony. Well, I am that Yankee Doodle. Whoa!
But this is Don Lane as most people remember him, as the high-profile variety show host of the late 70s and early 80s. Love him or hate him, his programs on the Nine Network were winners. The program had a long run, from 1975 to 1983. But why, when it seemed to have the Midas touch, did it end?
In 1965, when I first came to this country, 9:30 was late. In 1975, 9:30 was still late. In fact, I had a kid in the hire car that drove me from the airport to the studio. Said to me, I wasn't allowed to stay up and see you. I was 7 years old. And he said, and 9:30 was too late for me. So, you know, it was late. But when you got to 1980 and on, it wasn't late anymore. And we were getting hit with first-run movies and Roots, for example, you know, that rated its nose off. And it got to a point where it was getting tired. The show was getting a bit tired. We were getting a bit tired. It wasn't that we weren't enjoying it anymore. It was that I could feel it starting to get at me, you know. You go in, you do the routine, you learn the stuff. And I mean, I'm the kind of person that I can't just do it half-assed, you know. If I'm going to do the song, I want to know it. If I'm going to do the dance steps, I want to know them. If I'm going to do the interview, I want to know it. You know, people always used to knock me for my interviewing, but we showed some stuff in this special. I said, why did I do that? This is nice, you know, it's not bad.
How long have you been... How long have you been singing?
Pardon me?
I said, how long...
As Don waited backstage for his big entrance in last night's special, he couldn't help but catch some of Peter Wynn's opening montage of The Way It Was. It was then that Don could feel the old emotions rising again.
Each time I would look up at that monitor behind that curtain, I'd have to walk away and go to the side, you know, and I'd say, come on, stop this now, you know, like, get this right or it's not going to happen. And then I did the opening. We did the number. The curtain opened. We did the number. I was fine then because the distraction is there. You're concentrating on what you're doing. I finished the number, and I got to walk down the front, take that long walk from the back down to the front to do the monologue spot. And I get down there, and they're still clapping. See? And they're still clapping, and I'm standing there, and I'm really trying to get it together. It took me about, I would say, a good 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes before I got that right, you know? It's strange.
I believe there was another really emotional moment when you got to see Bert again.
Well, it wasn't emotional from my standpoint, because by this time, I mean, the wheel is late in the show, and I've already got a grip on it, you know? And he's there, and his eyes are all filled up, and his tears coming off his face. I spent the first 5 minutes of the wheel going like that. I kept taking the tear off his face, you know? People are going to think we're a pack of sooks, but they have no idea what that's like. I mean, that 8.5 years of that television show is firmly embedded in the minds of many, many people and firmly branded into the heads of us, you know? Like, those were very special years, and to have that all come together. And the fact that we're going to do another one is good, you know, because this time we'll know what we're doing. Good night, everybody.